Compare rates, linear representations. Before selecting your answer, find the rate of change, m, for each linear function. Hint, there are 5 for each question. For tables, you must use the slope formula. Which of the relationships below represents a function with the lesser slope than the function y equals negative 2x minus 1? So the first thing that I would like to point out is they are asking for the lesser slope. That's kind of their original thing, and then they're going to give us 4 different choices. So just a quick reminder that an equation written in this format is called slope-intercept. Here, I'll just write it right above this. Y equals mx plus b, where the letter b is our y-intercept, and that's found to the right of x, and then the letter or number to the left is going to be our m, which stands for slope. So in this problem, our rate of change right here is negative 2. So I'm going to put m equals negative 2. And then I'm just going to remind you that they want something that's lesser than that. Okay, so let's get started with A. I'm going to use red to represent, actually here, let's write the formula for slope. Let's see if I can fit it in here. M is equal to, and then I'll use a color coding for this. Let's see, I think the numbers down here are the easiest. Just a reminder, when you have a table of values, you only need 2 points. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use red for these two, and then I'm going to use blue for these two. So let's start with the blue ones. 1 over 1. Switching over to red, my y value is negative 5, which means this switches to a positive 5. And then underneath that, the corresponding x value is negative 1, which becomes positive 1. Okay, let's simplify that. M is equal to 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. So 6 over 2, that's going to simplify to m is equal to 3. So, it's obviously 3 is not less than negative 2, so we got to keep moving. Okay, so now we have, it looks like we have these 2 ordered pairs right here. I'm going to switch over to, let's see if I can get my number line. So the first thing, and I'm just going to use a dashed line, it goes from here down to here, and then we'll go to the right over to here. So all I have to do is just measure how far that is. So if I go down, count my spots, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went down 5, and then I'll go to the right, 1, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my m is equal to negative 5 over 2. And then as far as showing work for this, it's just simply writing m equals negative 5 over 2. Now, however, if we want to compare that, I'm going to switch this to a mixed number. Or, better yet, you could actually go ahead and just type this into your calculator and do negative 5 divided by 2. That might be the quickest. So let's see, that's going to give me a negative 2 and 1/2. So let's see, is negative 2 and 1/2 lesser than that? Well, we'll find out at the end. We'll compare this. We'll use the number line. All right, let's switch over to C. And it looks like we have 2 points again. I'm going to just use these 2 points that are listed right here. So I'll get my number line, and again, it looks like another negative slope. So I go down 2, it looks like, and then 1 to the right. So down 2, 1 to the right, which means my m for this one is negative 2 over 1, which is equivalent to just negative 2 like that. Okay. Let's move that over here. And our last one, we have a table of values, so I'm going to use the formula for slope. Again, remember, it says for tables you must use the slope formula. M is equal to, put my subtract signs, I'm going to look for the easiest points. I think that this is going to be my red point or first point, and then second point. So I'm going to put negative 6 over 8. Remember, your y values go on top. That's your rise. And then to the right of that, I'm going to put in negative 1, which turns to plus 1, and then positive 4, which is going to be subtract 4. And then we'll just simplify that. M is equal to negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. So we got negative 5 over 4. And again, just like I had a fraction over here, I'm going to convert that to a mixed number just so I can put it on the number line. So let's see, 4 goes into negative 5. That's going to be negative 1 and then 1/4. Or I suppose you could go ahead and you can convert it to a decimal if you want. So negative 1 and 1/4 would be negative 1.25. And again, using a calculator, negative 2 and 1/2, this would be negative 2.5. Okay, so just to go back to the original problem, our original slope was our m, or our rate of change, is negative 2. We have to find a number that's less than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot all these points on the number line below. I'm going to use, let's see, I'll use black for the original one, which is negative 2 right here. So there's our original one. And then I'm going to use the different, I'm just going to use red to represent our first one. So 3 would be way over here. And 3 is obviously not less than negative 2. The next one would be negative 2.5. So there's negative 2 and 0.5 would be approximately right there. And just to show that, I'm just going to put the letter, let's see, that's going to be the letter B. You do not need to use a number line, but I'm simply showing the number line just to make sure you really understand kind of numbers when they're comparing, especially when they're negative. A lot of people get confused. All right, letter B was negative 2.5. Let's see, 3, that was A. And let's go to C. So we're looking for negative 2, which is right on top of it. So I just put the dot right there. And there's C, which is the same as. And then we have D was negative 1.5. So there's negative 1 and just a little bit further. Cool. And I'm going to put D. Now, comparatively speaking, if we're looking that's less than, remember when you're dealing with negative numbers, the further you are away from 0, the smaller the number is. So the correct answer for this one is going to be B. Here we go. Obviously the choice, because B was furthest to the left. And that's pretty much how you're doing this. I'll go through one more example. Instead of lesser, we'll find, let's do a greater than. Okay, so same set of instructions. Just a quick reminder, you have to find the rate of change for all 5 of them. And then if you have a table, you have to use the slope formula. Which relationship represents a function with a greater slope than the function graph? So we're going to need to figure out what the slope is from this. Now, when they give you the graph, this is a little bit harder than the last one where they actually put the points on it. So I'm just going to be real careful. First of all, I'm going to point out this is a negative slope because as we go left to right, we're going down the hill. And it looks like we have a point here, 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 and here. So we got a lot of points. We only need 2. I'm just going to start on the left. You can use any 2 you want. And then just a reminder, it's to find 2 points that are close together. We're not going to go all the way to the left and then all the way to the right, otherwise we'd have to reduce the slope. So that's just a little bit of a hint. So we go down 1, 2, 3. So there's our negative 3, and then right 1. So the m for the original problem is negative 3 over 1, or just our m is equal to negative 3. Which would I would prefer that. And then to highlight what they're asking us, they said which one is greater, the greater slope. So we're looking for something that's greater than m equals negative 3. Okay, so over here it looks like for A we're going to have to figure out the slope. And I'll just get this one ready because it looks like we're doing the same thing for B as well. Okay, I think this one looks easy. And so I'm going to go ahead and put 1 over 3. And then these are the next easiest ones. 5 over 5. So our m is equal to, let's see, 1 minus 5 is negative 4. And then 3 minus 5 is negative 2. And just a reminder that a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And then lastly, 4 divided by 2 would give us 2 over 1, or just the number 2, which would be of preference. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I'm going to use, oh boy, these are really big negative numbers, technically small, right? Okay, well, I'll just start with that. So I'm going to do negative 29 over 5, and then switching over to blue, I'm going to do negative 39, which turns to positive 39. And then underneath that is 7. M is equal to, let's see, negative 29 plus 39, that's going to give me 10. And then 5 minus 7, that's negative 2. And 10 divided by negative 2 is going to be a negative 5 over 1. Or you can just, and notice I always like putting the negative in the top. It makes more sense when we're talking about graphs. That's just going to simplify to negative 5. So we got a slope of negative 3 for the original problem. A is 2. B is negative 5. C, the slope, is just simply, again, remember, it's y equals mx plus b. So whatever the value is right in front of the x, that's your slope. So we've got a negative 3 there. And then this one over here, we have a slope of negative 4. And we're going to put those on the number line. So let's put the original one in, let's see, black. Let's go to negative 3. So there is the original slope. And in this case, we're looking for something that's greater than. I'm going to switch over to red. Let's see A. I'm just going to graph this. This is going to be 2. And I'm going to put A. B is negative 5. Let's see, C is negative 3. And D is negative 4. Cool. So just to clarify, we're looking for a greater slope than 3, and the only number that's greater than is actually A. So let's see, what did I do last time? I just kind of circled it with blue. We'll do the same thing. So this right here, oops. So the only one that is greater is going to be letter choice A with a slope of 2. And that's pretty much it. So just a quick reminder, you need to find the rate of change for each linear function. There's 5 in total. And when you have a table, use the slope formula. Thanks for viewing.